Brett Holland. I'm with Stifel Financial. We're Mike Battistelli, business partner. We're both here from Stifel this morning, and our honored guest is Mr. Brian Payne. He's a director at Dearborn Investments. It's been a couple years since he's been here. Dearborn represents about 13% of the overall portfolio, just to kind of give a little perspective. And so if it's all right with yourself, Mr. Chairman, we'd like to just kind of go through our normal update, and then Brian will share some updates after that, if that's okay. So the report that you have there, if you don't mind opening up to page 4 of 11 in the bottom right-hand corner. And again, this is just the standard quarterly report that we kind of share with you each quarter. And in the top left part of the page there where it says relationship overview, it has some of the different performance numbers, and we'll kind of focus on the column that says quarter to date column is where that is. And the quarter to date, just to kind of read down through those numbers, the beginning of the quarter, and this is for the third quarter, beginning July 1st through the end of September, the balance was $146,353,682. And then cash flows during that time were a negative of $4,142, with just some distributions and so on. A total return, there was actually a loss during that quarter of $127,835, and then the final balance was $146,221,705, as you can see at the end of the quarter. We were down 0.11% for the quarter. The month of September, we were off that month. July and August we were up, but September was off. That was the beginning, just to kind of give a little perspective real quick, the beginning of when the Federal Reserve was starting to talk about beginning to roll back some of the stimulus actions, and the market reacted a little bit negatively in the month of September, which made our quarter pretty much flat there. The next column over is a year-to-date number. We started the beginning of the year on January 1st at $139,050,849, and then had withdrawals during that time of the $4.2 million, which is the distribution for the retirees. And then growth during that time for the year-to-date for the first 9 months was $11.3 million. And again, that ending balance is the $146 million, with a return through the end of the third quarter of 8.28%. So any questions on that at all? All right, the bottom right-hand corner is just our allocation. We focus a lot on this, talk a lot about this, and have discussed this in the past. So currently right now, your what we would call cash or cash equivalents is about 2% of the overall portfolio. Equities or your stock portion is 62%. Fixed income is 29%, and then that REIT portfolio, those real estate investment trusts, represent about 7% in that particular area right now. We're comfortable with that current allocation. Mike will have some updated numbers here in a few minutes, but we're comfortable with where that is right now as well. And the last thing, if I could ask you to go to page 6. So page 6, and this was gives a little better perspective, a little longer perspective, if you will. On the top right half of the page, if you will, you can see the 1 year, a 3-year, a 5-year, and a 10-year number. And just to kind of read down through those numbers, this is, again, going back 1 year period. Over the last 12 months, the portfolio is up 16.52%. And the 3-year number is 9.53. See at the bottom there. 5-year number was 9.35, and then the 10-year number was the 9.29%. And that's over the last 10-year period is what that is. So any questions on the report at all? Anyone has?
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Will our actuary adjust our contribution rate based on those higher percentages on average over the years?
Your returns would certainly help in that area. That would be a question more probably for your actuary than what it would be for us, but positive returns would be a good thing in that area. So.
Okay. Brian or Michael?
Yeah. I'll just give you updated numbers. This is through yesterday, and again, I always preface this, these are unaudited numbers, but for what we have so far through yesterday, the pension fund does stand at $152,790,382, And again, that would give us a return of about 13.67%. So we've had a nice rebound from September. Brett touched on that. The S&P 500 in September was down about 5%. So it was a kind of a challenging month. We haven't had one of those for a while, but October and so far here in November, we have definitely bounced back quite nicely. And then the allocation really is pretty much in line with what Brett had given earlier. There's not a lot of change, which it does fall within the investment policy statement. So at this point, we're not making any recommendations to change that at this point.
Very good. Any questions for Mike or Brett? No? Brett?
Thank you again for the chance to be with you. Brian Payne, I'm with Dearborn Partners out of Chicago.